y'all, so we are at the conclusion of the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 15 reunion. This is part 2. I feel like I've seen the whole episode already just from the sneak peeks. Even like the first 2 minutes of the episode, we saw this already in the last one. So it's Courtney and Drew going at it. Don't you ever in your life talk about my child. Like, Drew is heated right now. Courtney's saying, I didn't talk about your son. I didn't talk about your son. Andy's like, you did. Courtney, don't be lying like Drew. I mean, no one is really credible in this argument. Courtney's making a lot of waves for a friend of, like more than Moneta, or like Andy's calling her Moneta. We have some of the other ladies chiming in saying kids are off limits. Sonya says it and then Kenya does. I think the main fact of the matter is Courtney has an inappropriate relationship with Ralph right now. Like, who is this woman? Like, she came through Sheree, and it looks like she just recently met Ralph. So the way she's talking to him about his divorce and on his side and speaking for him, it's just very weird. And then I'm hearing Courtney is from Tampa or has lived in Tampa. Now, look, the dots are connecting, y'all. So, I don't know. This might be Ralph's Floridian secret. But as Drew and Courtney are going back and forth, Courtney claims to know that Drew has had some affair with Ty. She says she went to Houston to go to her basketball game. She went away for a date. Drew confirms that she went to Houston to see Ty, but sees no big deal in that. And I don't know, it looks like Drew's deflecting in this moment because she's bringing up Ralph and saying, well, I don't know what Ralph is doing. And he continues to grill Courtney about what Ralph allegedly told her. And it seems like he told her that he was getting a divorce from Drew when he found out that she was having an affair, an alleged affair. And the timeline is he found out after the Portugal trip. Oh God, Courtney, saying Ralph was heartbroken by it. Oh, like, I need all three of these people going. Drew, Ralph, and Courtney. Like, this psychotic triangle, like, that's going on, I don't like it. It's very toxic and dark. Andy then asked Candy about how Ty and Drew met. And it turns out that, I'm guessing she saw Ty on the set or was talking about her, saying that's her girl crush. She was telling everybody on set. And then when Ty showed up to set, that's when they became friends. It's just not looking good for Drew. Is you with Ty or no? I guess legally to help Drew out in divorce court, she can't mention anything about Ty. Oh man, now all the other ladies are chiming in about Drew and Ty. Like, they all know. And then Drew, she's trying to keep up this lie. That's the problem with telling so many lies. She got to keep up with every single one. And it's kind of uncomfortable to watch that Drew has nobody in her corner. I mean, Kenya is in her corner out of pity. But besides that, nobody. Lord, Sheree has now chimed in saying she has some information regarding Ty and Drew. Someone dropped some information off at her house. We don't know who did it, and Andy's not even pressing her to ask who did it. Like, it was probably Courtney or Ralph, but Sheree has blown up text messages between Ty and Drew. And according to Andy, as he's looking at them, they are very incriminating. They passing the damn paper around. King is trying to help Drew out, but Candy's looking at the text messages too. She's telling King, girl, I don't talk to you like this, and we friendly. So now all the ladies asking Drew, well, are these texts real? Drew's like, well, yeah, like, what do y'all think about this? It's sad as it is comical. And she's deflecting now again, talking about Ralph. I've seen Ralph con the IRS. Girl, we didn't ask you that. We know Ralph is a piece of shit. We want to know, is you lying or not? Two things can be true. Ralph can be a piece of shit narcissist, and Drew can be creeping around with Ty at the same damn time. We're not talking about who's wrong, y'all, in my opinion. We're just trying to get down to the facts of the matter. Because first Drew is saying she's never kissed a girl in her life, but she don't like girls. But what Ralph is doing in their marriage has nothing to do with that. Damn, Andy's feeling sorry for Drew. And it looks like they just dropped the conversation. Like, we just got these text messages. Really? Like, we're really just gonna go on to the next? Andy, nobody give a shit about Moneta. Why are you asking about an orphanage? Can we get back to these texts? And now he's dismissing the friends of? Really? And personally, I don't even know why Moneta was there. She ain't helped anything. She's just chiming in with Candy. We better not see Monietta anymore. Like, girl, this was your chance to hold the peach next season. You failed. So then we get a behind the scenes look. The ladies are on break now. We see Marlo in her dressing room and Sheree comes in. Marlo's like, bitch. Like, they think they got Candy. And I think they did because Candy's mad. And Sheree saying the only reason she did that was because Candy kept coming after her business. Hey, all is fair in using receipts and some props on Housewives. Oh God. And meanwhile, we're in Ralph's dressing room. Side note, is he the only husband that came? So Todd isn't invited as well as Ross. It's just Drew's husband. I mean, the husbands were useless. But back to this scene. The way they hugged each other was hella intimate. Wow. I think they fucking. So Courtney's trying to have a conversation with Ralph, Drew's husband. And then we see Drew's sister pass the door. And then she's like, don't close the door. And as Courtney tries to close the door, Allison is stepping up to her. Courtney calls her a bitch. Allison looks like she about to get with it. And it looks like they have to be separated. We see Andy kind of holding her back. This really is like an inappropriate relationship. And she's not really his cousin. Like, they became close out of nowhere. I just can't believe what I'm watching. Personally, I wish Allison would have slapped the shit out of her. But Courtney looked like the type to press charges, so I'm glad she didn't. So now the main cast is back on set. The next reel is dedicated to all the sex talk throughout the season. This looked like a fast forward to me, but let's see. Yeah, that was a waste of a segment. I mean, we've talked about Candy's freak number an umpteenth time. We can bypass that. So next up, we're on Sonya's reel, and basically her storyline was family and her pregnancy journey. First, she talks about her horrible experience when she was in New York with her miscarriage. She said all the ladies pretty much supported her with the exception of Kenya. She said Kenya didn't even reach out to her. Kenya's saying something different. She's saying, I did reach out to you. I called, you didn't answer. It's basically Kenya's word against Sonya, but Kenya doesn't want to be the one to attack a pregnant woman. She kind of backs down while still standing firm that she reached out to Sonya. In the process, she gives her a compliment as well, saying, oh, you look gorgeous, and you were blessed with another pregnancy. So they don't really take it further than there. Like, Sonya just accepts her compliment. We then move on to Sonya's family life. Someone asked, why does she treat her family so poorly? I don't think she treats her family poorly. I just think she really depends on them like they're her staff or something. But she says that her family moved out and they're just a family of 3 right now. Andy then takes a moment to ask Kenya about her journey having a kid, and she says that she plans on adopting. And thank God, because you do not need to be using Mark's sperm for anything. So now we're talking about Kenya and Sonya's friendship. And it just looks like Kenya has a problem with Sonya being aligned with Marlo. And I think as long as Sonya is aligned with Marlo, Kenya ain't gonna fuck with her. And Sonya needs to realize that. They're going back to the charity event and Kenya's calling out Sheree and Marlo. Marlo's saying that she donated. Sheree's saying that she donated. Marlo says she just didn't want to participate in Kenya's show. That's petty, especially when charity is the bigger picture. So next up, Candy's in the hot seat again. First, she's asked about Speak On It. If she don't like to be shaded, then why does she have a YouTube channel shading her cast members? And she says she's just giving back what they give her. Next. I mean, look, everybody want that YouTube coin. I'll allow it. I don't mind watching Speak On It from time to time. Hell, maybe she'll have me as a guest one day. Go message Candy and tell her you want to see Diggy on the show. The next question for Candy was actually sent in by Sheree, and Andy's reading it off. Sheree has been on her petty this reunion. She's basically suggesting that Candy needs to take a break since she doesn't have time to hang with the group. And every time she's on camera, she only wants to be seen in a good light, allegedly. So Candy's response to that is, I do show everything about my life. Hell, on Candy and the Gang, I showed my greasy ass floors. She didn't say that, but y'all know we saw with our own eyes how nasty those floors was on Candy and the Gang. But anyway, Candy kind of gets Sheree when she says, well, you know, Sheree, you would know a lot about taking breaks. I was like, ooh, okay. And then Sheree came back and says, well, honey, you know, because of y'all being lackluster, they always ask me back. I was like, oh, okay. Oh. I'm like, look at Sheree with the clap back. And she said she made history being asked back 3 times. Respect the OG. I mean, I'm going to give her those points because Sheree's usually tongue-tied. She was ready for Kandi this reunion. So now we get to Marlo and Kandi's beef that happened with her nephew. Marlo being mad over 2 years from Kandi, who she sees as a dear friend when they were just co-workers for 14 years. They were never like friends like that. Also, I think Bravo was tired of showing the clip of Marlo saying, my nephew's dead, bitch! Like, they've showed it all throughout the season and now they don't want to show it for the reunion? Huh. Anyway, Marlo's trying to defend her point and she just saying a bunch of BS to me. Like, all this is moot because you and Kandi were never that cool. She's saying it was Marlo's goal to put Kandi on Front Street about shootings happening at her business. And she even tells Marlo that she thinks she's jealous of her whenever her businesses are doing well. Marlo says she could never be jealous because she loves a soft life and Kandi works too hard for her, trying to support so many people. So then Drew tries to chime in, and then Marlo's like, girl, be quiet. You need to worry about your marriage. I chuckled a little bit. Drew's like, don't talk about my marriage. Marlo's like, yes, we are going to talk about it. We are going to talk about your marriage. You're on a reality show. We're going to talk about it. Oh, man. So Marlo and Drew are still going at it. Drew's trying to use the husband angle, which I think is tired with Marlo. She's like, get a husband. And Marlo's like, well, get a wife. We then get back to Kandi and Marlo talking about their issue, and Sonya kind of involves herself in trying to speak for Marlo, and Candi's telling her, you don't even need to be speaking for her. Like, we shouldn't even be arguing over Marlo. And Kandi has a point, but then Sonya and Marlo bring up that, well, you have friends that speak on your behalf all the time, and look, Kandi is notorious for having her candy-coated clique speak on people that she don't like. And Kandi's hands are clean because technically she didn't say anything about them. So they have a little bit of point there. Anyway, I'm glad Andy's now trying to get to the nitty-gritty of the argument because we don't care about this anymore. He's like, is there a path forward between you two? And I think they both agree to be cordial with each other. And Kandi says, basically, don't start no more, be none. She didn't say it like that, but that's how she meant it. So next up, they bring Ralph out, and I still can't believe that he is the only husband present for the reunion. Like, I think this is a first for Atlanta. He's now sitting on the other side of Andy. We have a therapy session coming up. Drew looks disgusted by the sight of him. And girl, how do you think we feel? And side note, y'all, it is after midnight. I'm doing this review. I have my pizza right here. I'm multitasking, so just ignore it. Okay? So they roll the Ralph and Drew reel. You know I fast forward through that. Drew, again with the props. She takes a peach out from behind her and tells Andy to give it to Ralph. It's just so awkward and it didn't land. No one's laughing. Now we know Ralph is a piece of shit, but we also want to take you seriously. But when you do shit like that, we can't. So currently Drew and Ralph's living situation, they're living under the same roof and they're under mediation. Divorce court people in the chat, I'm guessing that's for them to maybe save their marriage, or is it like arbitration? I don't know. Y'all let me know. As Ralph is talking to Andy, clearly he's acting too. He's playing the role of a husband worried about his image, while Drew is playing the role of a desperate housewife. The next question for them is, when did it all go wrong? Because it seems like they're pretending that everything is okay when it's actually not. Drew's now talking about the sacredcy of their marriage and protecting her husband for his infidelities, even though she don't want to say it. Ralph's even challenging Drew to bring up what he did, and she doesn't want to say anything, and I'm so confused by that. Like, he's already embarrassed you enough. Girl, are you tired? Are you not tired? So then Andy asks Drew, has she been 100% faithful? And she says, absolutely. And then Ralph says, well, what about Ty? Now, see how he doesn't hesitate to embarrass you? And then she's like, are you really gonna play in my face right now? Like, I'm just wondering, do they have some type of pact where they have to like save face between each other? Like, it's just so weird and awkward. I can't be the only one getting this. They're now both fighting over who wanted a divorce first. Like, Ralph is saying he's the one that wanted a divorce. Drew is saying that you only asked for a divorce after you found out I was going to the courthouse. So it's her word against his. Andy's like, why does it matter who initiated the divorce? And it looks like Drew is trying to hold it on Ralph that he should be the one that want to save this marriage. No, Drew, you should want to save yourself from somebody like Ralph. Drew then calls out Ralph for quitting counseling and actually blocking their therapist. I think it's Dr. Ken, the one with the toupee. Drew then accuses Ralph of being in cahoots with Mimi from Love and Hip Hop about her involvement with Ty. And then Ralph says he actually heard about their alleged affair through her assistant. Now I'm wondering which assistant, because, you know, Drew has like 3 or 4. So now all the other ladies are chiming in saying that, well, your assistant did talk about you being with Ty. And it turns out it's not the sissy assistant Anthony. It's another sissy who was helping her in the trailer. So they're showing him in the flashback, and Candy, I think Marlo, and then Sheree. Most of the ladies on the couch agree that they heard it from her assistant. And then Marlo's like, well, is it true, Drew? Drew doesn't answer. It looks like she's getting tongue-tied from lying. Like, Drew can't say anything about Ty or else she's fucked in divorce court. That's probably why she's not saying anything. We probably have to wait until her divorce is finalized before she says anything truthful. And even then, I wouldn't hold my breath. Drew's now calling Ralph a liar. She's telling the ladies that they don't know what they're talking about. She then gets out her phone and shows Andy incriminating texts between Ralph and some woman. There's actually pictures too. Ralph was like, oh, I love that you did that. I just don't know what to believe, y'all. Now, side note, why the other women on the other side of the couch thought Andy was talking about a man that was texting Ralph? I mean, I get it, the Floridian secrets, but still, like their reaction, oh. Like, Marlo actually put her hand on her chest. Y'all, they going back and forth. I low-key don't care, but I'm trying to keep up. Ralph, of course, is saying that it's not true. It's a catfish or something. She's not showing all the messages. Drew is showing Kenya for some reason. I mean, how come we can't see the receipts? She couldn't give that to producers and show us? Let the fans decide who's telling the truth. This is what happens when 2 lying actors are at odds with each other. So now they're talking about why Ralph was in Vegas. He said it was a work event. And then Drew is like, you know you auditioned for, I'm guessing, Magic Mike or something. And then we get some unaired footage for whatever reason, Candy calling the producer on that show, and he confirms that Ralph auditioned. So Ralph is lying. They're both liars. So the thing is, they cancel each other out, which means my fucks are out. The merry-go-round of madness continues. So they're going back at each other of who's cheating on who. He's saying that she brought Ty to his birthday party. She's cheating on him with multiple women, child. And then she's saying that he told her that he's getting blowjobs all around the world. He said he didn't say it, but then he admits that he did say it as something funny or wasn't serious. How much longer we got? They're not talking about Courtney's hot mic comments, and Ralph is saying that he was always hesitant with the adoption because Drew's son's father still wanted to be in his child's life, and he didn't want to take that from him. Again, Ralph be lying, so you gotta take that with a grain of salt. I think the kid lucked out because I wouldn't want an acorn-headed narcissist as a father. Andy then asked the million-dollar question, do they both want reconciliation? Do they still love each other? Ralph says he still loves his wife. Drew says she still loves Ralph. And I don't know, in a Stockholm Syndrome way, I think her deep-rooted connection to religion is keeping her in this toxic situation or wanting this toxic relationship to continue. So then right after Drew says she still loves her husband and would be down for reconciliation, she goes down a laundry list of how Ralph is just an ain't shit N-word. And you still want to be with this man? Like that, all the things you mentioned? And as Drew continues wailing on him about how terrible he is, all Ralph has to say is, Drew, you're acting right now. And Drew has had enough. She gets up and storms off set. Ralph seems to activate his gaslighting and continues to tell Drew that she's not being serious right now. The set is silent, and then Marlo says, Drew, come back. You left your purse. We see Drew backstage getting consoled by her sister. She's getting her makeup done. She's talking about being taken seriously, not being called an actress. She's actually talking to her husband with her heart. He knows about these things, and he's out there lying. So then her sister brings up, well, why don't you bring up the PI? She's like, I don't want to bring that up. Like, she doesn't want that for television. And she agreed to sign up for a reality show. Like, if it's gonna help your case, you should bring it up. But I think deep down inside, she still wants to be with Ralph. We're back on stage as Andy's talking to Ralph, and Ralph is just lying through his teeth about supporting Drew. You have Andy and even Kenya calling out his contradictions. Backstage with Drew, she's saying that she knows for a fact that it was Ralph who gave Sheree those text messages. I'm just curious, why does Sheree even share them? So that means she's not even a friend to you. Like, she really don't have nobody on that set that has her back. Child, now we see Sonya and Manetta trying to calm Drew down. It just seemed like it's out of pity because they all know Ralph is a piece of shit. Like, they're not friends with Drew because she's a liar, but they feel sorry for her that she has to put up with somebody like Ralph for a husband. We're back on stage now, and side note, I think I really don't like Kenya's dress. Like, the way the titties just sitting out, it just looks weird. But anyway, we see her comparing Ralph's behavior to her ex Mark's behavior, and I do see the parallels. Like, they both are a piece of shit. We then see Drew come back out with some assistance from Sonya. I really don't think Sonya's concerned. I just think she's ready to go and for this to be over with, much like the rest of us. So she's thinking the sooner Drew get her ass back out there, the sooner this reunion is over. And now we're back to Kenya still trying to talk to Ralph. Like, girl, it's not about you. Just sit back and let Andy do the moderating. We don't need to hear about Mark. Y'all's divorce outlasted the length of y'all's marriage. So stop comparing it to Drew and Ralph's. I can't stand Ralph, but he has a point. How long were you married? 2 years, and you're trying to compare your marriage to theirs? They've been together like, I want to say a decade. Kenya, just sit back. So now Kenya's getting offended by what Ralph is saying. Now, y'all, I'm not on Ralph's side, but he has a point. Kenya, shut up. Thankfully, Andy finally interjects to move on the conversation now that Drew is back out. He asks her and Ralph, is there anything else they want to say? It's crickets. Ralph is then acting again as a concerned husband. I can't take him seriously. Afterwards, Andy turns to Drew and says, I hear you have a song you want to share with us. Lord have mercy. Can we just cut it off there? Is she really about to perform, y'all? I cannot. So now we see Drew takes Andy's seat as Andy's seated with the other ladies. Ralph is still out there. Y'all, this is so fucking awkward. She is singing to this man on her right. Are they both just acting to propel her music career? Well, she sound good. I like the beat. No, I don't. I don't like this song at all. So Ralph is dismissed and Leigh's about to do a toast. The resident peacemaker Sheree? Really? After she just tried to tear Candy to shreds, we're looking to her for the final word? Well, that was bullshit, whatever it is she said. They then do a toast, and that is where the episode ends, y'all. This two-part reunion, I give it a C+. The season altogether, I still think season 13 was worse. I would have to give this season, I'm not going to be super tough, but I would give it a C-. Like, they really need to change something. I don't want to see Drew back. Kenya flopped really hard this season. Candy, it's just, I need something different because I know next season, all we're going to be talking about is The Wiz. Sonya, I'm happy for her that she's pregnant again, but she don't need to come back. Just reboot the cast, because I just think the cast would do better on an OG's girls trip like they're doing for Roni. Like, let's get some new faces, because this ain't working. They better not come back with the exact same cast. We need some fresh faces. Hopefully they listen to the fans, and maybe something will happen at BravoCon where we get more information on the reboot. With that, y'all, that was a whack-ass season. I'm looking forward to Married to Medicine. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about the season. And make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see y'all for New York. Bye.